Hello, beautiful Gemini. Happy New Year to all of you. I hope you had a good holiday season and a good Christmas break. My name is Iwona Rose, and welcome to my channel, Rose Healing Light. This will be a reading with spiritual guidance for the month of January 2023 for Gemini, and you can listen to and watch the video. Listen to this for if Gemini is your sun sign, your moon sign, your ascendant, also for your Venus sign, or for any other placement. So wherever you have Gemini in your chart, if you know that already. I also work with angels and archangels when I do the readings, and I've already asked Archangel Metatron and Archangel Michael to be with us today for the reading, to send us blessings and protection. To just make sure that we have a great experience together, right? All right, I think at the end also I'm going to pull two cards so like a bit like a theme for the whole of 2023, right? As a kind of like a small theme for the year for you guys. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with the first card, which is your theme for the month of January 2023. Yes, we are in 2023 already. This is to be fair. I feel like I also need to, so it's number 38, and number 38 comes to 11. I think I need to stop it. So 11 is, is an ascension number, right? So number for ascension. So many of you are probably on the path of ascension, right? And I assume that many of you already know what it means. For those who are new to it, perhaps you can look it up. And you probably, obviously there are many, you obviously do belong to that path too, right? It's just that there are many stages of ascension, right? And there are many levels. And to be fair, that's about fairness and justice. And it's about, I would say, like balancing, it feels to me like balancing the scales, right? And this means, so it could be like balancing, for example, some old karma. And that's sometimes a bigger thing, right? But like in general, and I also do feel that even though this is about, let's say, fairness and justice, and I think in a positive way that justice will be coming to your life to perhaps certain situations, like you also remember that you also participate, right? So you participate in the balancing of the scales. If this is balancing of karma, then you also take, let's say, an active participation in it. So perhaps pay also attention when this comes up to you, and it comes up obviously with other people or in other situations, and maybe ask yourself. So yeah, I feel like you probably need to be aware of it, that you also you kind of contribute to it, you participate, and then you can perhaps ask yourself, how do I contribute to a certain situation, especially if the situation isn't for example going well, right? Or it's a bit challenging. I think this is the main theme, or at least the main thing that I see at the moment. Let me just start with your current position is 10 of Ariel. So the 10 of Ariel, this actually comes with a card of deceit, guys, for you. By looking, it does feel, by looking at other cards as well, and I will show them to you in a moment. I think it feels, first of all, like this is an aspect of, so 10 of Ariel can be, for example, like a company that you work for at the moment. It could be your own business. So it comes a little bit like as even an institution, but it's not necessarily, it's kind of more about, let's say, a place where you are, and a place where there are obviously like also material aspect of it, right? So like a company that you work for, right? It's obviously, it was set up also by people, right? But it's kind of like a bigger entity, right? So let's say, but it could also be your own business. It could perhaps also be a home, but I feel like it does relate, first of all, to, as I said, to, let's say, a business, a company, or your home, but it relates also to people who have, let's say, who have built it, or who built that in this kind of this business, or the family, or the home, and who contributed, right, to that business. And that's your present situation, and it's also like the center of the reading, right? So something obviously is evolving around this aspect. And the deceit card, I'm not really, I kind of feel more like that's something that's already been, maybe just pay attention, something that's already been happening in the past. I wouldn't say, I don't think that this means, let's say, I don't think that, let me just, I don't think that this means that it will manifest the way that you are going to be deceived. I think it's just more about your inner, I think it's either your inner perhaps deception, right? So you need to pay attention to it, or something manifest that obviously isn't necessarily righteous. It isn't, maybe it isn't fair, right? Maybe it's not based on truth, for example, or it's not honest, right? So some people who are not very honest. Um, yeah, and I would say, but I would say the whole, I would say the message here for you would be, because you've got the theme to be fair, right? So your theme is to pay attention how you can bring, let's say, the justice about, right, or how you can resolve the situation in a, let's say, in a more balanced way, right? And yeah, and of course I feel like, of course, make sure that you bring justice to yourself, right? You don't need to, like, it's yeah, so it's always, I would say, put yourself in the center position of your life and in the center position of the situation. Yeah, let me maybe just before we understand it, right? That's just a main, I would say, because this is, I usually read because this is the center of your reading, right? So let's see that this is like a center of your issue or of some situations, perhaps during or something, yeah, during the month of January or something will come up around that, right? I also felt, one thing that I'll tell you, I also feel that you've, so this obviously, I feel like this already has started in the past, right? So you probably, some of you know, perhaps that you are working with some kind of a problem or an issue or any other situation relating to what I've just said, business, family, also a home that you have built. And it's obviously so something that obviously perhaps is nearing, okay, it feels like it's nearing the resolution, but there will be some, let's say, there may be some, let's say, some problems coming up, right, with the deceit card. But the past position, which I think is, so that's why I said I feel like something has already started in the past, or you've started the process of perhaps untangling yourself from it, or actually maybe releasing this, right? It actually could, now it feels like it could also be a family unit, and it could be like your ancestors as well, right? Or it could be perhaps the current family that you created, even though it does feel like it's from like a family of your origin, right? But let me just go on. So you've got the solutions card in the past position, and that's the temperance in the traditional tarot. And this does tell me that there was already, so this is also actually about balance, but I see it usually as in a more subtle way. But the message here is that some kind of a balance, let's say, was already brought to you, where you were able to, let's say, participate in this, let's say, in this structure, right? Let's call it a structure, like a family, a business, maybe your own business, perhaps in a better way, in a more balanced way. So I feel like this balance has somehow, like, already came in somewhere in the past, and you were also working with that, right? And that's like, that's also the card of the alchemist. So I would suggest that you probably did, you guys, many of you are aware, and you've done your inner, or you have been doing your inner work, perhaps your healing work, right? So or you've been working with the shadows of it. So I would suggest that this is for me, and my readings are a lot about shadows and healing as well, because that's who I am. And that's the best, guys, I can advise you, of course. You've got, and the clarifier for this actually is all tied up. So this card in, and it came in reverse. And actually this card in reverse, let me just speak a little bit. It's at least, it's actually a very good card, I would say, because it does talk about, you see, like, she's obviously all like constrained and can't move, right, like in the upright position. But I feel like you've started to release this, right? So you've been working on releasing these restrictions, right? Or you've been working on releasing some aspects of some limitations, right? And they probably may have been, I mean, they are always within you, but also they were manifesting, and they are probably manifesting in this kind of environment. If this is your family, like ancestral patterns, then again, for those you guys who have been healing or have been on a path of healing, I would suggest that this is like you continue to, or you've done a lot of work in the past to release yourself from some family patterns. Family BS, to be honest, it does come to me as an energy from your family, from your family BS. So like family, let's say, drama and things like that, right? And even though you continue, but I feel like the message is, yeah, so you already know what you are working on, right, with this, and with this, let's say, this structure. If it's, yeah, I think, yeah, I think this was the main message for the moment. Of course, if it's the business part of it, or your business, or a company you work for, it would be similar, right? It's just you've been untangling something. Anyway, it feels simply that you've started this work. the balance already came in, and you were also able to contribute and understand how you bring back the balance to yourself. Yeah, through again, through your healing work, or through meditation, through your practice, right? And going also inward to see what doesn't work, and how you can first, so in this case, how you can first release it, right? Yeah, so you've worked obviously a lot perhaps in the past already, or to some extent with, you know, understanding your patterns, limitation or limiting beliefs, or limiting like thought patterns as well, right? And you've started to obviously use certain practices to release them. All right, so it's just obviously, I think it's a continuation that you are going to do in January. And now it probably makes more sense that the seed that comes up, so something will come up only to perhaps remind you. So remember, when we are healing, we are going through stages, and sometimes, so we go sometimes up and down, right? It all depends, and sometimes the healing can be a longer process, right? And very often, sometimes we've healed something, we've released, like there's a bit of a space, and then sometimes things do come back up again, right? So please don't get, let's say, discouraged. I would say they only come up because you are ready to actually step up again, right? So obviously you've cleared it up, you've settled your energy, you've come to the right point, and then boom, something else comes up, which means that you need to go deeper, right, with your healing. So don't be afraid of it, I would say. It's not pleasant. The seed card, I don't normally like it, right? No one does, but I would say it comes for a reason. So please trust it, and you will be able to work with this again and resolve it. It's just that it's a bit like a, you know, you have a sign, right? You are forewarned, let's say, right? It's a, a bit like a warning, or like a sign, a message for you to. And also this may cause you. So this is the future card, 2 of Michael. So which I would say that this probably will, so this is also part of the energy, this is of January, probably a little bit towards the end of January, and maybe a little bit further, but obviously this, perhaps whatever situation comes up with this deceit, right? Untruthful people, or various situation. I don't think it's a very bad, like, bad manifestation of a deceitfulness. It's probably all about, it's a lot also about how people behave, and how people perhaps manipulate as well, right? But you'll be able to see it, I think. But this may cause you to find yourself like in a block, or in a kind of a bit of a stalemate, which means that you may not be able to either move forward, or you will need to, yeah, you will need to do further, let's say, clearing work, right? Maybe energy clearing work, if you do, let's say, energy healing practices, right? But this comes, so this relates to a man. So this comes with the man holding a heart. And I can tell you straight away, because, and I'll show you in a moment, in your challenge position, you have King of Raphael. So they're very similar, right? It's kind of almost the same card. I would suggest that this stalemate, and probably maybe even the whole situation, let's say, evolves around a man, and I would say it's a man or a male figure. This is how I want to read it, I think, even if it would be, I don't think it's a male or a female, right? But if men are watching the video, then I'm sure you'll be able, that it may be a friend, maybe not a lover, but let me speak to that as it's a male figure, and it's either a romantic partner, or it could be an ex-lover, or an ex-partner also, and it could also be, for example, a boss or a manager, right? So these kind of relationships, and this is how I feel, even though it's man holding a heart, but obviously, so it does relate to, let's say, the emotional aspect of it, right? And it manifests. So now, for those of you guys who understand, who have been perhaps healing for quite a while from family issues, then this may also represent that something comes up, and in this kind of aspect of a relationship, but it represents a pattern from the past, and a pattern from the family, right? So I would say, don't be scared of it. Just, you will be able to resolve it, right? Just probably the awareness of it will help you. Yeah, and at that moment, obviously, you may be stuck, or you may find yourself in a position where you don't know which way to go. And this came also like a little bit of an inability to make, let's say, the right choices and decisions. But I would suggest, obviously, I don't know, this is just the future position. I would suggest that this means, yeah, you probably need to do some like extra inner work, right? Maybe some further further healing work. Maybe you need to do some research before you move on, right? I would only say this about it. Let me just speak about, so this is your challenge position. The challenge position, you've got actually, so you've got the King of Raphael, right? And as I said, but you've also got 6 of Michael, and those 2 cards, I don't know if I can show you this, but the 6 of Michael is about, it's about like moving, let's say, away from something, or leaving something behind. I felt because they both came. So if you can see this card, it kind of like Archangel Michael is like on this boat, right? And I felt like you want to distance, like it seemed like you either want to move away from this person. Um, in this case, it actually comes that it can be a male or a female, right? But yeah, but it's, yeah, anyway, it's the same situation, right? Let's not complicate it. Anyway, it's you want to move away from this person a little bit, but in a way that you want to I feel like you want to distance yourself from this person, but you are also, so the blockage, I feel like, and so with whatever, so but you're trying to find a way how to do that in the best possible way. So I don't think that you can, let's say, break free from the relationship at the moment. This is how it feels. And again, whatever that is, ex-lover or the current romantic partner, or it could be a boss or a manager, right? So I don't think that you can move away from them like fully, right? Just to set yourself free. So there is some limitations there. And obviously that's why you come up into this let's say the stalemate position or the blockage. That's why the challenge. So the challenge suggests that you want to move away from them, or you want to distance yourself. And I would say also that the advice would be to by using perhaps your meditation or your practice, or like your healing practice, your healing inner work, yeah, to kind of release emotions, and this will help you distance yourself emotionally. And then you probably will be able to see, so you'll be able to untangle something perhaps, and maybe make some choice or some decisions that maybe you couldn't make, right? Or maybe it will help you also to see clearly about who actually this person, so this is who this person is, right? And then you will be able, hopefully, to make better choices in the future, right? But I think that it's a process, so I don't think that it will happen in January. So yeah, so that's the challenge, just to distance and to move away a little bit. I don't think you can break free from this person, but to distance and to find space from that person so that you can see more clearly who they, let's say, who they truly are. And then you'll be able in the future, hopefully, to make a choice or a decision. Let's say, how do you want to proceed with that relationship? Let's call it this way. In the environment, so in the environment, sorry, position, you actually have Four of Raphael and Nine of Gabriel. Sorry guys, Nine of Gabriel was the first card that came. And this was, I feel, more important. This also felt as if someone, like, it's like with the Two of Michael, like it felt a little bit like there's a bit of a block. And the environment, so it kind of feels like as if this person, so someone in your environment may kind of impose a block on you. It may be also an internal block, or it may manifest the way, right, that they will, let's say, block you or not allow you to move on freely the way that you want to go, let's say, right? But on the other hand, this is your environment. I feel like the card is also telling you that just hang in there, do your inner work, do your meditation, like do the research if you need to do the research, or talk to people if you need to find a way to go about it, right, or to resolve some situation, and you'll be fine, right? Nine is also a bit like it's a very close to an end, right? Or it's kind of even like 9 is a number of endings. And this is how it feels, that you still have some work to do with this individual, and you haven't fully resolved everything and all the issues, but you will get there, right? You will get there. And the Four of Raphael, just, this is usually a card of like boredom, a bit of lethargy. It could also be that someone is actually not, so because this is an environment, it may seem like maybe this person or someone is not giving you the full truth. Or it may be causing, it's kind of like this person may be causing like a fog around them, if that makes sense. Like they are not very clear, and you don't know sometimes how to read them, right? So this is how I see it. That's the environment. But I guess, again, the main purpose, like the main message here is just hanging there, do your work, right? Do whatever you've been doing, or talk to people if you need extra advice, and you'll be able to find basically your bearing, your kind of solutions and your steadiness. This is how it comes. Your outcome here is actually Queen of Raphael, and it felt really, that's a very positive, a very nice energy. It's probably someone, it's probably someone in your environment. It feels like it could be actually even a mother or a mother figure, someone who cares a lot about you, and she's ready to help. She's somehow ready to help you. She's ready to give you perhaps some support. I don't think that she will be able maybe to give you like the advice that you need, but she definitely is there to help you in any way. And it's kind of like more from the heart, right? So she will give you a hug if you need a hug. You can talk to her. You can cry. Maybe you need to cry. I know sometimes these situations aren't yeah, like this kind of situation, sorry guys, like that, this, you know, these kind of situations aren't simple, right? Aren't simple or easy. Yeah, so you can, so I feel like you rely on her, right? And that's an outcome, so it just kind of shows you that there is someone there to help you out, and she may be like maybe a relevant person in the situation, perhaps to help you maybe withdraw and just find your balance, right? And then you'll be able to take some action perhaps in the future, right? One other card that I have here is actually the it's just the advice card. I usually take this card with the with your theme card, and this says go for it. I would say that's a new moon in Aries. I would say if you, so again, if you have any doubts, so if, so with all the, so there's a bit of a blockage, right, that will be kind of surfacing or resurfacing in January. And first I would suggest like honor the block, right? Like if the block or there's a situation, the stalemate comes up, first of all, honor it and just would like take time to understand it, right? And do your inner work. But I think, yeah, it's like go for it. It's probably something, yeah, like this message is that once you've done your inner work or once you know what you want, just go for it, right? Also the message, actually the message from this card is coming that you will guys know what it means for you, right? Go for it. So yeah, it's individual, right? And hopefully you may remember this at some stage. All right, let me now take 21. I'm going now to take sorry guys, 2 cards for the whole of, so for the year 2023 for Gemini. And this card, I just feel like this card, even though the go for it was there, right? I feel like I just need to mention that it just reminds you about the theme, which is about to be fair, right? And it's about justice and fairness. So be fair. Make sure also that you are honest and be fair to I would say towards yourself first, right? Yeah, towards others as well. But maybe you've been always fair to other people, and then you felt perhaps like a bit of a victim, right? Of other people's sometimes even behaviors and various things that they did. So I would say to be fair to yourself. And go for it. Again, you will know what it means for it, but go for it means go for it. Just trust your instincts as well, I would say, and choose the choice, let's say, that you wanna, that you want, right? Not other people, if that makes sense. All right, let's just move on to, I think I feel I've given you the whole message. All right, so this is for my beautiful Gemini. Aries is coming. I don't know why at the moment it also came Aries when I took this card. So I would just suggest, and this is for the whole year, right? I would suggest that either, so Aries, maybe perhaps if you want, like, go ahead and watch my Aries video for January. You guys may have other placements, so Aries may be important, and because this is for, so Aries as a sign, and your, let's say the placement in your chart may be important for probably the whole of the year in some way for your learning, let's say, and for your lessons, right? So just yeah, just to pay attention to that. And let me take one card. Let me just ask Archangel Michael. Okay, yeah, Archangel Michael just said that the first card was also the card. Yeah, it's just because the previous sign, I think Taurus, I don't remember, probably Taurus had the same card, but Archangel Michael said that for you guys it's also the same message here, but with a different so let's start with the Archangel Michael. He says this is admit, I just want to show you this guys without the glare. Gosh, okay, admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. Yeah, so Archangel Michael, so with the fairness, perhaps it does relate, and you guys, because you are Gemini, so you guys, if you have a sun sign or your ascendant, this means that you kind of do have a, like, you take a lot, you're an air sign, right? So you kind of think a lot, and a lot of your processing comes probably around your mind space and let's say thinking patterns. But I would suggest this also, to be fair is also about, like, remember to be fair with yourself and to be honest with yourself, right? That's why he says admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly, right? So perhaps whenever resolving any inner conflict, this also can be inner conflict or any blockage that you got with yourself or maybe with others, remember always just to admit the truth to yourself. Be honest with yourself first. Perhaps do your inner work so that you can, let's say, understand it and bring something into balance, right? Because it may not feel very well straight away, and then you'll be able to see your clarity. But please act with honesty, I would suggest. And family tree, so this is another message, right? And the family tree, sorry guys, I just there is a bit of a glare and I apologize, but you can see the card. The family tree, it does says actually expansion and legacy. I would say, so this obviously relates to, I would say, for those who have been healing a lot, right, you are probably breaking free from ancestral patterns, right? You are on a, I would say you are on a new path of growth as well, right? Um, and I would say that if you want to, for example, start your own family, right, or maybe you want to join a family of your choice, it may be also a soul group, right, because we also have like a soul family, like our friends, yeah, friendships and other people that we want to, let's say, cooperate with, right, and become. Then I would say if you want to start, then this year I would say it would bring you, yeah, so it will bring about like a, I don't know, there's a bit of a creation here, right? So if you want to start a new family, it's like it's very important that you understand what kind of patterns. So like we had this card, the 10 of Ariel, right, that you understand what kind of patterns like you have already been, or you want to break free from, and you have been probably doing this for the past, I don't know, months or even years. And it's just a reminder that you do have a choice and you have a free will to create your own family based on, let's say, your own value system, right, and the way you see the world. And you don't have to, let's say, make the same mistakes as, let's say, your parents or your ancestors did. And I feel with that I will finish. I think it's a very positive message that you will be able to, by doing your healing work and all that stuff and resolving a lot of things. And it does seem like it's a year of breaking free from that. It's a confirmation you can definitely create your own family based on your own truth, right, on whatever you want, and based on how you perceive the world, and find and then resonate and meet people who resonate with you, and also at the level probably of honesty, right, because we had the deception part. So the honesty is kind of important here, honesty and truth, and probably faithfulness as well. This is how it comes. Yeah, I think this is, yeah, I think I think this is the message. I feel it's complete now. So thank you for watching the video. Please hit the like button and subscribe. I will be very grateful for it, or share it with your friends. Yeah, and I hope to see you on my future videos. I'm wishing you a good January. Take care of yourselves, and I'm also sending you much love. Bye bye.